That's where we want to welcome in our guest tonight, Donald Trump Jr., who's joining us on the phone. Don is the executive. Oh, Don's actually live in Iowa, and Don is crashing the Iowa Caucuses. Don, great to see you. Thanks for coming on the program this evening.
It's good to be with you guys. How are you?
It's great to see you. So tell us why. I mean, I've seen the pictures all over social media every day. Everybody who's anybody part of the 2020 Trump campaign is in Iowa tonight. Tell us why you guys decided not to even give an inch of ground in Iowa on a night that should be reserved for Democrats.
Well, listen, the reality is we're always going to fight. That's what my father is. He's a fighter. I think it's important for the team. I think it's important, most importantly, for Iowans, people who put their faith in us in 2016, who took a chance on an unknown in terms of as a politician, gave them his vote. And he has delivered for them. So we're here partly just to thank them for that faith and to really mobilize the teams. We're going to have a rough general election no matter what. You've seen what they've done for the last few years with the Democrats and with their media wing. It is literally a battle, and it will be rough. So it'll be a good warm-up for our team to be able to be here, to be able to fight, to be able to get out there, work on our ground game, and just say thank you to the troops.
Now, you've seen the polling, I'm sure, as everybody else has. Do you really think the Iowa caucus goers are going to give this to a Democratic socialist?
Well, listen, the reality is I've seen the Democrats be very afraid of him. I've seen the Democrats try to prevent Bernie from being there. I've seen Nancy Pelosi set up part of the impeachment hoax to make sure that Bernie Sanders was stuck in D.C. and not on the campaign trail. So, honestly, if Joe Biden doesn't win big tonight, I think it's really reflective of him, his campaign, the enthusiasm or lack thereof. So he better win big. Otherwise, it's probably Bernie.
Yeah, well, I asked this to my other guests, and I want to ask you the same question. If Joe Biden does not win tonight, his campaign is what after Iowa?
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, he had Iowa to himself essentially for 3 weeks while all of his real competition was in D.C. working on the impeachment hoax. I mean, if he can't get Iowa to go in his direction with that amount of time all by himself, I mean, I would have killed for that in 2016 to have the state to myself. And, so I think it's pretty reflective of a lot. So I really think he has to win big. Otherwise, he's got troubles. That doesn't mean things don't change. We didn't win Iowa, and we went on to win. But it's a little different this time around, I think. I think they have people that were into it. We didn't know what a caucus was 4 years ago today. We were figuring it out on the go. So, I don't want to say they're exactly the same, but I think it'll be very indicative of the enthusiasm that he has. And I think that should be telling to the Democrat Party. But again, yeah. I loved what happened the last time the Democrats rigged the primary. I thought the result was incredible. I hope they do that again because they don't seem to be in tune with their people.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get away with it this time. Let's talk about the impeachment hoax, as you called it. Your father's going to be giving a State of the Union address tomorrow night on the eve of his eventual acquittal in that Senate chamber. You could easily make the argument, and we did this a little bit earlier when you look at the fundraising totals of Elise Stefanik versus Adam Schiff, that this has been a boom for Republicans. You look at your father's approval numbers up higher now than they were before this whole process started. Are you surprised the way this played out?
Not really. I mean, because, again, this has just been the continuation of what we've seen from November 9th, 2016. I mean, you saw the Washington Post write the article, the case for impeachment, 19 minutes after my father's inauguration. You saw the Russia hoax be pushed for years. They're pushing that as my father's renegotiating NAFTA and gave us the USMCA. They signed the articles of impeachment as my father signs a historic trade deal with China. All the things that he said he couldn't do. So he's delivering despite unprecedented incoming, despite zero help from the Democrats, who would much rather see America fail as long as it takes down Trump than actually work with him to get something done for their constituency. And that's sad. Yeah. That's truly sad. But again, I think the American people see that. I give them so much more credit for it. And we hear about it every day just walking down the street.
Well, you mentioned that op-ed. We saw the Al Green speeches on the floor of the House nonstop ever since your father got elected. We saw Rashida Tlaib screech, "Let's impeach the mofo." Even if they vote to acquit him on Wednesday, do you think the House Democrats' impeachment efforts are over as long as they hold the House? Do you think they'll continue to persist?
No, come on, wait. If you think that, you haven't been watching Okay, they'll come up with the next hoax. They'll be pushing this thing. I mean, they've said these things. I mean, there's a reason that Nancy Pelosi in her press, well, impeachment is forever. It's forever. It's forever. It's like the consolation prize. It's like, well, we got this thing done because we control the House. It's not going anywhere because there was never any real, there's nothing real here. There was never any truth to it. But we got that done, so we got our little ding. We got to hurt his legacy. I mean, that was literally their talking point because there wasn't actually a crime. They didn't actually allege anything. It was literally nonsense perpetrated then by the mainstream media, who just decided to be the marketing wing of the Democrat Party. Again, real people who are benefiting from Trump's policies, whether it be through jobs, whether it be through rising wages, whether it be through any economic metric that is better than it was 4 years ago under Barack Obama. They get it. They see through the nonsense. And I think the Democrats are hurting themselves when they show the American people how unwilling they are to do anything with Donald Trump, even if he's actually getting things done for the American people.
Well, Don, you've become a voice for a new generation of conservatives, but I wanted to ask you about a legend of radio, Rush Limbaugh, who really gave a lot of us our first insight into the conservative movement. We found out today he has advanced stage lung cancer. Just wanted to give you a chance to give your thoughts and talk about what Rush has meant to you.
Well, listen, obviously it was terrible news when I heard it today. I mean, he is a legend. I mean, he is the original guy that created so much of the conservative movement and the vocal conservative movement. I mean, he's the original guy that would take the fight to the Democrats. I mean, Donald Trump took that playbook and turned it into a presidency by actually being willing to fight, by being willing to engage with facts and with logic and with reason, and to think about what he's going through right now is absolutely terrible. I was with Rush a few weeks ago at a Turning Point USA event down in Florida, where he opened up for my father, and I got to spend time with him backstage, and Bo, his producer, and all the team. I mean, just amazing people, and what they have done and the platform that they have created has really changed conservatism for the better for an eternity, and I just would love to thank him for that.
Well, he is certainly the original of the species. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him and everybody who loves Rush Limbaugh. We'll be thinking of him. And we thank you for your time tonight. Have fun out there in Iowa. Raise some hell out there. Don Jr., we look forward to talking to you again in the near future. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. I know no other way.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems or go to newsmaxtv.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.